beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel and to day 8 of Vlogmas. Today I thought I would do a little book video because I haven't done one in a while, and I thought I would talk about some of my favorite books that I read in 2021 and also my most anticipated reads of 2022. So I have 6 of each, and we're just gonna go looking back on 2021 and looking forward to 2022. So these are in no order. Not even the order I read them in, I don't even think. No order of how I felt about them. Just these are 6 books I really enjoyed this year that I would say are my favorite books I read this year. Not all of them came out this year. Some of them are actually quite old. One of them is quite old. But I thought that I would share. So let's start with the one that actually did not come out this year. And that is Romancing Mr. Bridgerton by Julia Quinn. This is Colin's book, and I mean really it's Penelope's book, but it's Colin's book if you're talking about the Bridgerton siblings. And I am obsessed. I'm just obsessed with it. I am most definitely a Penelope. I've got my best friend, my mom, and my blog, which, you know, that's fair. But anyway, this actually is not the version I read. This is my signed copy. This is the one that, where is it? Where's my signature? That when I met Julia Quinn, look at us, we're very cute. When I met her, she signed it, and she said, I think there's a bit of Penelope in all of us, and I think that is true. So this is very special, but I really enjoyed that book. Okay, now I just want to confirm one of these. I'm pretty sure the rest of these all came out in 2021. Yes, they did. So let's go through them. Since I already talked about this one in a video literally yesterday, we're just gonna brush over really quick The X Talk by Rachel and Solomon. This is my most recently read book, and I loved it. So good. Glad I picked this up when I was on vacation and made it my vacation book. I talked about it more yesterday. Go watch that video. It's real good. Okay. Oh, I don't know which order to go in. So we're just gonna go to the big one right here with all the tabs. Y'all remember back in February and March, I spent a lot of time talking about this book, A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. Yeah, I mean, I remember leading up to this book thinking I was gonna hate it. And I was gonna also hate that I hated it because I hated Nesta, loved Cassian, and thought that I was going to be miserable reading this book. I was not. I loved it. It changed all my rankings of the characters. It changed a lot of my perception of the world. And I just am obsessed, and I cannot wait for the next book, even though we don't know who it's about, though we can assume who it's about. We don't know who it's about. I'm ready for it, and I know we have a long time to wait, so I'm just trying not to get too sad. But I was obsessed with this book. I did several podcast episodes about it. So you can check those out, but that is A Court of Silver Flames. Next up, The Intimacy Experiment by Rosie Danan. This is the sequel to The Roommate, both incredibly good books. Rabbi and a badass bisexual former porn star turned sex educator. Yeah, I think that's like what you need to know. I think that's what you need to know about this book. It's very good. And I honestly would read about Naomi forever. So, done. I go back and forth on this, but I think this may be my favorite book of the year. It was my most anticipated book of the year. I think it is my favorite book of the year. And its sequel is on the list we're going to talk about in a minute. Realmbreaker by Victoria Aveyard. I am obsessed. I liked the Red Queen series. I love Realmbreaker. This book is literally just like an epic fantasy, great world building, so many awesome characters that I can't wait to see what happens next. I'm obsessed. I think this book is also signed too. Let's see. Yeah, this one's signed too. But I am obsessed. Obsessed. I kind of want to reread this before the end of the year. We'll see if I have time. But I just can't get over how much I love this book. it is so much better than Red Queen, and you can tell that she learned a lot from writing the Red Queen series that has made it into this epic, epic book. And last but not least, another book that we're going to talk about, the next one in its series in a few minutes, and is also, this might be my second favorite of the year. It might. It really might. And that is Hang the Moon by Alexandria Bellefleur. I love the way Alexandria Bellefleur writes. This is like my ideal romance novel. This and, oh my god, Written in the Stars. I'm like, what was the first one called? My brain not working. These are like my ideal romance novels. I am obsessed. The characters are wonderful. Their relationships are wonderful. The style is wonderful. They're set in Seattle, which of course makes my heart happy. I also just love Alexandria. She's fabulous. One of my favorite people to follow on social media. And I cannot wait for the next one, which we'll talk about in a minute. So, those are my 6 top books of 2021. They're all amazing. I think if I had to choose a number 1, I would say Realm Breaker. But that also changes, like, on the day. If I think it's Realm Breaker or Akasif or Hang the Moon, like, I go back and forth. So, they're all amazing. I suggest all of them. They're all, you know, I think I did a good little mix here of different types of romance and then also some fantasy and adventure. So, I think that tells you a lot about my reading tastes and can make you assume what's on this little list of my most anticipated for 2022. So, I'm going to say these in the order they come out because that's probably the order I'll read them, obviously. So the first one, I didn't mention the first book in the series in this video, but I did read it this year and I did love it. And that is, the sequel is called Ashes of Gold by JL. It's a sequel to Wings of Ebony. I really, really, really loved the book. It took me a minute to get into it because it's a little jarring to hear someone talking like a Texan in a fantasy world. And to go back and forth between those two contexts at first was really jarring, but then I like actually really loved it. And the sequel comes out on January 11th, and I'm very excited to read that because there was a lot that happened at the end of that book, so I'm very excited to kind of see what comes next. Okay, number 2 is the next book in this universe. It's the next Alexandria Bellefleur book. It is called Count Your Lucky Stars. It is about Elle's former roommate, Margot, who is also Darcy's brother's best friend now, I guess, and her love story, and so I'm very excited for that. That comes out February 1st. The third book on this list is House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. It is the sequel to, oh my gosh, it's the second Crescent City book. Why is the like first Crescent City book escaping my mind? One moment, please. Because that shouldn't be happening. That's all the different houses. Crescent City. House of Earth and Blood was the first one. House of Sky and Breath is the second one. And then they'll go through all the other houses, obviously. But that comes out on February 15th. I'm very excited for that to kind of see what happens next. From how I've heard her talk about it, it feels like we're going to see some like different characters being the focus than I maybe thought we would, and so that's really exciting. Next up is The War of Two Queens by Jennifer L. Armentrout. That comes out March 15th. That is the 4th book in that series. Can't wait to see what Poppy and Cass are up to. We'll see. 5th is Blade Breaker by Victoria Aveyard. That comes out June 28th. Sequel to Realm Breaker. There's a lot that could happen in this book. There's a lot of people on different paths that I'm excited to see how they cross or don't and what happens next. So that comes out June 28th. And then last is one that I didn't think I would put on my most anticipated list because the first book in the series I did read this year. It didn't come out this year, but I read it this year. And it is not on this list. And the book that is coming out this year is Husband Material by Alexis Hall, which is a sequel to Boyfriend Material. I liked it. I liked Boyfriend Material, and I didn't expect to be excited, though, when I heard that the sequel was coming out in August 2nd, to be exact. But now I'm, like, actually really excited about it. So, we'll see. Is it going to be better than the first one? I don't know. But I'm excited to read it. So those are my 6 books from this year and the 6 books I'm ready for next year. And that is what I know. So let me know in the comments what your most anticipated read of 2022 is, or what your favorite read of 2021 was. I'd love to get some more ideas. Make sure you hit subscribe if you're new so you don't miss a single day of Vlogmas, and I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Bye.